McIlvaine and all that stuff. Well, one of the guys I prospected down that line happened like this. I want to share something with you that I think would make you enjoy your business. What if every day of your life you set out to make one other person feel special? One other person. And so let me give you an idea of some of the things you can do. I was coming out of a place called the Mongolian Barbecue in Stockton. It was right next to my office. And we're coming out, and this two people bump into the door as this woman's coming through, and she knocks all of her stuff all over the ground. A whole bunch of stuff, and all of her food, right? And as we were doing that, I was helping her to pick up. Another gentleman came and helped her pick everything up and said, listen, that's a terrible thing those guys did. Can I buy you lunch? Can I re-buy your lunch for you? This guy. He says this to this lady, right? And she says, oh my gosh, that's so nice of you, don't have to do it. He goes, no, I insist, really. If someone did that to my wife, so now I know he's not hitting on her. He says, if someone did that to my wife, I'd want to do that. And I watched him do it. And so as we're leaving, this is how I friendship farm. I said, hey, can I get your card? That's all I said to him. You know what the natural inclination in the United States is when someone says, can I get your card? They reach for it without even knowing why. He goes, yeah. And I didn't say anything to him. A week later, because this is how I did it systematically, and I was on a pretty good streak for about a year when I was going wide, I called him and said, hey, this is Ed Mylett calling. I'm the guy you met over at the Mongolian Barbecue. You probably don't remember me. Hey, listen, I got a little letter I wanted to write you. Can I get your address? He says, sure. He gives me his address. And I wrote him a letter about what a great man I thought he was and how unique he was and how special I thought that moment was, and there's not enough good men left in the world that would do those kind of things. And I just wanted you to know, man to man, as a Christian, I thought what you did there was unbelievable. I think you're a special person. I just wanted to acknowledge what you did that day, and I'm sure you live your life like that every day. I think you're a very unique man, and you inspired me. Ed Mylett. Mailed it off. Took me about 5 minutes to handwrite the letter. Right? He gets a letter. What do you think happens? Calls me up. He says, Mr. Mylett, I don't even really remember meeting you that day, but I got to tell you something. No one's ever done anything like that for me before. I just want you to know how special that is to me that you'd point that. I said, let me tell you something, Rick. I really meant what I said there. I think that was awesome. I think you're a great guy. Sometime you and I ought to get together for lunch. I think you're an unbelievable person, and I'd love to get to know a guy like you sometime. We ought to know each other. We both live here in the same town. He says, I'd look forward to that. Nothing threatening. Just building a friend. Friendship farming. So about a week later, I pick the phone up. I say, hey, Rick, it's Ed Mylett. Ed, how are you? Like I'm his long-lost best friend. Ed, how are you? I said, well, I tell you what, I was thinking about you, and I'd like to go have lunch. Matter of fact, I'd like to buy you lunch. You know, our company's expanding, and I'd love a chance to get to know you. You know, I don't know whether you'd be interested in what I do or not, but I can tell you this, I'd cherish a chance to get to know you, learn a little bit more about you, and see if there wouldn't be a fit with you and our firm, that type of a thing, or maybe you know somebody. Wouldn't it be a good time for us to get together and visit for a half hour to 45 minutes? You think I had any resistance? You think I got, what's the company? What's it all about? Is it this? You think I got any of that stuff? No. About a week after that, I was at the Big 5 Sporting Goods. Go in there, I was really buying shoes. You should prospect. There's one thing to go prospect, another thing to prospect as you go. So I was buying shoes, and I watched this guy, and they're running around like a maniac helping people. The guy does my shoes. He goes, hey, these are awesome, man, but I'll be honest with you. These Reeboks over here, whatever they were, he says, these Reeboks over here are like 20 bucks less. They're better shoes. They're on sale right now. You probably ought to get these, right? I said, geez, thanks. You're unbelievable. He goes, I got to help these people. And he's running around. So I didn't even ask him for his card. I got his name badge. I wrote down Frank V. And I found out when I left, I said, what's Frank's last name? Vasquez. I said, great. Took his card, got back to the office, because I heard this on a tape in the practice company of how to do it. So I hand wrote a quick letter to the store manager. Called back, who's the store manager? Dave. And I wrote Dave a letter. Dave, you've got a guy working for you named Frank Vasquez. I don't know what you're paying this guy, but it's not enough. He's unbelievable. He's a credit to your store. Every time I come in there, he gives unbelievable service. He's outstanding. I just want you to know, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you're paying this guy, it's not enough. You're lucky to have him. Fired the letter off. All right? Mosey down into Big 5 Sporting Goods about the next week. Mr. Mylett, how you doing? Oh my gosh, our manager told me about the letter. No one's ever done that kind of a thing before. My wife has a copy of that on the fridge, and our kids have seen it every morning. I said, hey man, I meant it. By the way, they give you that pay raise yet? I told them to give you? He goes, no, not yet, man. Man, that made me feel like $1 million. I go, hey, I meant it, man. I think you're awesome. I just want to come by and say, hey, talk to you soon. And I left. About a week later, I picked the phone up. Big 5 Sporting Goods, can I speak to Frank, please? Hey, Frank, it's Ed. Mr. Mylett, how are you? I'm great. Hey, they give you that raise yet? Hey, Frank, I don't know you very well, but I got to tell you something. I'd cherish a chance to get to know you a little bit better, buy you lunch. You know, I don't know whether you'd be interested in what I'm doing or not, but I know a kind of guy like you, the kind of guy I think you are, our firm would be lucky to have you. And we've got some positions coming open here soon. I don't know whether you'd be interested or not. You may know some good guys. Guys like you usually hang out together. Cherish the chance to get together for a half hour and get to know you better. Get to know you a little bit, you get to know me. Won't be a good time for us to get together and visit and talk about it. You think I got, what's the name of the company? You think I got, is it this? They got, hey, I'm open every day at lunch. When would you like to go? Thursday sounds good. About a week, 2 weeks after that, I'm at the bank. Little girl Isabella. Not named after my daughter. Didn't name my daughter after. It happened to be her name. Isabella Moy. And she's the bank lady there, right? And she does my telling all the time. Nice lady, helps me out, right? I'm done with my bank in there that day. I thought, I'm going to do one of these letters. Wrote a letter to the branch manager. You got a girl in there working for you, Isabella. She's unbelievable. I don't know what you're paying her, but it's not enough. She's always pleasant. She always makes my day. Always lights me up. Always friendly. Always helpful. She's unbelievable. Blah, 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 blah. Next time I go into the bank, ding, it's Isabella. Go over to her window. Mr. Mylett, oh my gosh, that letter you wrote, you made me feel so good. Oh, I love you, you're great. And before, she didn't really know me well. I go, I meant it. I think you're awesome. Every time I come in here, you got a smiling face, you're professional, you got your act together, all that stuff. I think you're unbelievable. They give you that raise yet? No, not yet. Well, it made me feel good. Okay, well, hopefully they'll give it to you. Next time I come into the bank, they give you the raise, Isabella? No, Isabella, give me your card. You and I need to talk. Girl like you probably ought to be working with me. I'd cherish the chance to get you to know you a little bit better. I told my wife all about you, blah, 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 blah. About a week after that, I'm at church. There's a guy at church that I have a lot of respect for the way he raises his family. So I wrote him a letter and told him, Brother David, it's Ed Mylett. I just wanted to tell you something. You're such a great example of God, a protector of your family. I love the way you're raising your kids. You've got a beautiful family. I just wanted you to know how awesome I think you are, what a beautiful family you've got, and how you inspire me with the way you are with your children and your family. Blah, 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 blah. I just think you're a great man. I just wanted you to know it's an honor to have you here at church with us, and I look up to you a great deal. Just wrote him a letter to make him feel good. Next time I see him at church, Brother Mylett, boom, big hug for me, right? Never even shook his hand before. Big hug for me. And I said, I meant every word of it. He goes, well, we love you too. I think you're unbelievable. Next time I saw him about a week later, I said, hey, I've been thinking about this and I don't want to push you or in any way offend you. The more and more I thought about how I feel about you, I'd love to talk to you about what I do. You may know some good people, blah, 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 blah. Closed for an appointment, got together and recruited them. Recruiting's easy if you just do it. You can write letters, you can make people feel good. What you ought to do is to say, I'm going to go prospecting every day, I'm going to call my top 25 list every day. You get people in your warm market you want to recruit that you haven't talked to in a while, write them a letter and tell them how much you miss them and you love them and they're awesome and how much you respect them. And here's the deal. Do it because you want to tell people these things, not just to recruit them. Do it because you really want people to feel good, and the byproduct of that will be you'll end up recruiting an awful lot of them and getting an awful lot of clients that way. So I started to make a habit. I can't tell you with integrity that I did it for years because it worked so well I got a lot of recruits. But about 2, 3, 4 days a week, I'd write one of those letters to somebody I had met, come in contact with, seen at a business or something of that sort. Okay? And it instantly helped me friendship farm on steroids, instantly helped me recruit people. You've got people in your family, in your church, in your neighborhood, at your kids' schools, people your kids play baseball with that you don't know very well, but you admire the way they take care of children, they show up at every game. Write them a letter and tell them. Or go up and tell them. Make them feel special. Build a friendship, and then you've got anything you want you can do in terms of recruiting or building. But what I got into, it's when I first became a Christian, I got into every day I can go make another person's life feel better and make them feel significant. Every day I'm going to pick one person or two people and go make them feel like $1 million. Have any of you ever received a letter like that before, by the way? And you remember it the rest of your life? Dan Charlet received a letter from a guy in the Marine Corps. It was like the commandant of the Marine Corps, didn't you? You've told me about that letter about 20 times. The president of my dad's bank, a guy I didn't know very well, wrote me a personal letter telling me how much my dad loves and brags about me when I'm not around. I have a copy of that letter in a frame in my home office. I never had met the man before he wrote me the letter. He just said, I haven't met you yet, but man, your father talks about you all the time. Your father loves you so much, says you're such a good man. I just wanted you to know I can't wait to meet you when you come home from college this year. Your father raves about you. What a great father you've got, and I can't wait to meet you. I've kept that letter forever. It's the only one like it I've ever gotten before. So then you know what? That guy I'd do anything for that wrote me that letter. I automatically trust him. I automatically love him. I only know his heart's in the right place. What if you could go build a business where 365 days in a year you change another person's life and probably 100 of them end up becoming clients or recruits of yours? I'd cherish the chance to get together and buy you lunch, tell you about our business. Now, by the way, you're not limited to doing that once a day. You're perfectly welcome to do it 10 times a day or 15 times a day. You know what your deal is? honestly, because I love you, you really don't work at this and you don't really think about working at this enough. Because recruiting's easy. I just told you a way you could recruit someone literally every day of the week if you wanted to, aside from your own warm market, aside from prospecting. So it's not that you can't recruit, it's that you don't see the value in doing it, or it's that you're not after it. But I can tell you, what I just told you is one of the most powerful things you could do in your life. By the way, how would you feel if you knew every week 5, 6, 7 people got letters or contacts or things like that from you? How would that make you feel to do that for people? You know that automatically also puts you in a command of leadership over them, ironically enough, by doing that. Very easy to prospect and recruit. Hopefully that helps you. I don't know that it does, but I hope that it does. And I can tell you, I'm the type of guy, I told, I'm going to bring Mike up now. I told Guillermo and Dan, I leaned over when Dan was up there and I said, you and he can recite everything I've ever said, even if it was 3 or 4 years ago. Schleman's that way too. Like, it's unbelievable how much of what I say Dan remembers. It blows my mind. And then Guillermo will give a talk and he'll say something that I forgot I even ever said 4 years ago. Schleman's that way as well. I have so many deficiencies in the business, but what I am good at is coming to meetings like this and hearing the things people say and absolutely doing them verbatim. The thing I just gave you about friendship farming, the way I did it, is from a talk from a guy named Mike Tuttle in the practice company. I got that tape. He built his whole business doing it that way, and I went for a whole year and got like 54 wide, I told Guillermo, in 6 months doing that. I didn't go 60 wide in 6 months, but I went 54 wide in 6 months doing that. And width equals wealth. And everything, the hiring interview, the phone calling script, the interview Mike's about to show you right now is all stuff from the past. The speeches I give, the talks I give. I'm not an original thinker. I'm a duplicator. I'm a copier. I'm constantly copying what other people do that they do well. My fast start I learned from Jeff Levitan. I pick and part, but I do what they say. You ought to do what I just said. You making $1 million a year or 200 grand a year, 500 grand a year, it's just a matter of you being willing to do what it takes. Not whether you can, not whether it works, it's whether you're willing to do what it takes. And I think, what if you could weave your life's plan and mission and goals in life into the business, where they're one and the same? And one of the things I got a kick out of was making other people feel like $1 million. And the thought, I used to get a kick out of thinking, I think the letter arrived today. I bet he got it, and how he was reading it to his kids, or his wife got it and said, you're not going to believe, calling him at work going, we got this letter from Ed Mylett. Can you believe this? This is before I wasn't Ed Mylett. I was just Eddie Mylett, you know, the guy. But just the fact that I thought of them, and to think of them reading that with their family and how many of them up on refrigerators, that made me feel like $1 million. And also, these are people that would kill for me now. I never had to worry about getting clients or referrals or recruits or prospects. It was easy. This is easy. This business is not hard. And I don't think, it's hard when you don't run the system. It's hard when you don't work. It's hard when, it's really hard, which I'm going to talk about in my talk, when you start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. You wear out the engine doing that. But if you just turn it on and run consistently, it's quite easy. But it's start and stop. If you prospect and don't, run the captains and don't, recruit a little bit and don't, call some referrals and don't. You know what I mean? You get recruits, you do the filters with a couple of them, and you don't. You get a recruit and stop, like Jeff Levitan said yesterday, and make them change their own diapers and feed themselves. That's hard. But if you'll just work consistently, it's quite easy. It's not difficult at all. If you'll constantly be going wide, just go at a pace that you can sustain. A lot of times we blow out of these and we go, okay, I'm getting up at 4 o'clock, I'm going to bed at 2, I'm like 8,000 recruits tomorrow. You're not going to maintain that pace. But if you can maintain a pace that you can maintain and have a life and have a family and have your God and have all that, it works. Just don't start and stop. Here's a good rule of thumb. Work when you're supposed to work and mess around when you're supposed to mess around. It's real simple, and that's fun. I mess around a lot. I play a lot of golf. I lift a lot of weights. I work out a lot. I spend a lot of time with my kids, but I work when I'm supposed to work. So that's the way it goes. Hopefully that helped you. That talk really helped me when somebody gave it to me about doing the Good Samaritan routine. So hopefully that helps you, okay? All right.